It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said. The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others.
Royal tensions have reached a boiling point, and this time, Prince William is drawing a bold line in the sand. In a move that stunned palace insiders, he's reportedly removed Queen Camilla from his late mother, Princess Diana's beloved charity awards. Was it a quiet act of defiance or a powerful message echoing Diana's legacy? Behind the glittering smiles and royal protocols lies a growing rift that can no longer be ignored. What sparked this dramatic decision, and what does it mean for the monarchy's fragile balance? The truth is jaw-dropping. BBC interview scandal. It was June 2021, and the world's attention turned sharply toward Buckingham Palace. Something huge had just happened, something that would stir old memories and open old wounds. The BBC had officially accepted the results of an investigation led by Lord Dyson, and what came to light shocked many. The report revealed how the famous 1995 panorama interview with Princess Diana had been obtained, not through honesty, but through lies, fake documents, and manipulation. BBC journalists had tricked Diana into giving the interview, one that would become one of the most talked about moments in royal history. The truth had finally come out, and it hit hard. Soon after, Prince William stepped in front of cameras outside Kensington Palace. He looked deeply affected. His face showed pain, frustration, and sorrow. As he began to speak, his voice was calm, but there was a strong emotion beneath every word. He said it was right that the BBC had accepted Lord Dyson's findings, but he also made it clear just how serious the matter was. BBC employees lied and used fake documents to get the interview with my mother, he said, his voice steady but heavy. His words echoed not just in the streets of London, but across newsrooms, living rooms, and social media all around the world. For William, this wasn't just about a news report. It was personal, very personal. The loss of his mother, Princess Diana, was still a deep wound, and now he had to relive one of the darkest chapters of her life. He spoke openly about how much she had suffered, not just from the media pressure, but from the betrayal and manipulation she faced behind the scenes. The lies used to gain her trust had caused lasting harm, not only to Diana, but to the entire family. The moment William spoke, headlines exploded. People everywhere began talking again about Princess Diana, her kindness, her pain, her tragic end, and the brutal way the media had treated her in her final years. William's words weren't just a complaint. They were a promise. He would not let anyone damage his mother's memory again. But William wasn't only speaking to the BBC. Behind his words was something more. Years of sadness, anger, and frustration about how his mother's story had been told over and over, often unfairly or without compassion. Normally, the royal family stays silent about emotional matters, keeping everything private and polished. But not this time. Even Queen Elizabeth was reportedly disturbed by what had come out. Prince Charles, however, stayed quiet, perhaps because he understood just how complicated this story really was. As days turned into weeks, the world kept talking. News channels, newspapers, and online discussions buzzed with questions. William's reaction to Lord Dyson's report showed something very clear. The emotional wounds inside the royal family were still fresh. Even after all these years, Diana's story remained unresolved. Her legacy was still being fought over. Throughout the rest of 2021 and into 2024, William quietly began to take steps to protect his mother's memory. He became more involved with the Diana Award, a charity that honors young people for their humanitarian efforts, inspired by Princess Diana's compassion. But this wasn't just about a public role. For William, it became something deeply personal. He wanted the world to remember his mother the right way, honestly, kindly, and with the dignity she deserved. As the next Diana Award ceremony approached, planning began behind palace doors. Usually, royal events follow strict traditions. But this time, things were different. William was being extra careful about every decision, especially about who would be invited. He was determined that this event would truly reflect Diana's spirit, and that meant making sure nothing or no one would overshadow her memory. As discussions continued, one name quietly started to come up more and more. Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Camilla's connection to Diana had always been difficult. Their histories were deeply tangled, marked by heartbreak and years of tension. For William and his brother Harry, this wasn't just about royal roles or titles. It was something they had felt in their bones growing up. Even though Camilla was now a respected part of the royal family, the emotional weight of her past with Diana couldn't be ignored. It was a sensitive issue, and for William, it was deeply personal. As the date of the event came closer, William seemed more and more determined to keep the ceremony focused only on his mother. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered about quiet changes. Guest lists were adjusted, seating plans were reviewed, and some royal traditions were quietly set aside. It became increasingly clear Camilla might not be invited. Such a move would be bold. It would go against royal tradition and might shake the royal family in ways not felt for decades. But William seemed willing to do it no matter the consequences. He was standing up for his mother in the most powerful way he could. Every day the tension built. Would it be right for Camilla to attend a ceremony honoring Diana? Would he really go through with it? And if he did, how far would the ripple effects reach? Let's take a closer look. The Diana Award means far more to Prince William than just a yearly event. It's not simply a ceremony or a tradition. It's a deeply personal tribute to his late mother, Princess Diana, created in 1999, just 2 years after her heartbreaking death. The Diana Award has grown into one of the most respected honors in the UK. Its purpose is to celebrate young people around the world who show the same values Diana stood for: kindness, compassion, and a strong desire to make the world a better place. Each year, when the event takes place, it's not only cherished by Diana's admirers, but also eagerly anticipated by youth around the globe who hope their efforts to help others will be recognized. These young people are chosen for their inspiring work, standing up against bullying, helping their peers, protecting the environment, and supporting mental health. Over time, the award has become more and more influential, drawing attention from leaders, charities, and the public. But for Prince William, it's never just a public duty or something on his schedule. It's a chance to honor his mother's memory in a way that truly matters. Those who work with him say he puts his heart into every part of the event. He doesn't just show up. He carefully prepares. He reads about each recipient's journey, learns their stories, and truly takes in the courage and love they've shown, just like Diana did when she met people in need. In the months leading up to the December 2024 Diana Awards, the halls of Kensington Palace were filled with a quiet but focused energy. William, along with his staff, spent hours reviewing every nominee's background. According to palace insiders, he was deeply moved by the stories of these young changemakers. To him, they weren't just winners. They were reminders of his mother's spirit still living on in the world. But something else made this year's ceremony even more emotionally intense. New information had surfaced about how the BBC had deceived Diana during her famous interview back in the 1990s. This reopening of old wounds made William even more protective of her memory. He felt an even stronger sense of duty to make sure her legacy remained respected and untainted. Because of this, William took extra care when it came to the event's planning, especially the guest list. In previous years, invitations were sent out across the royal family, showing a united front in honoring Diana's legacy. Even Camilla, the now widely accepted Duchess of Cornwall, had attended in a quiet, respectful way. Her presence was always subtle and carefully managed, considering her complicated history with Diana. But in 2024, there was a noticeable change. Palace insiders reported a clear hesitation around inviting Camilla. William personally reviewed every guest list and invitation. It became apparent he was being extremely cautious, wanting to avoid anything that might distract from the award's purpose or stir emotional discomfort. The BBC scandal had reminded everyone just how raw Diana's memory still felt for William. Although Camilla had worked hard over the years to earn public respect, her connection to the pain Diana experienced couldn't be erased. For William, this wasn't just about protocol or appearances, it was about honoring his mother's dignity. By November 2024, rumors started to swirl that Camilla might not be attending. The palace said nothing publicly, but behind the scenes, there were tense discussions. William, while respectful, stood firm. He wanted this year's ceremony to be completely focused on his mother, her values, and the young heroes being honored. To leave Camilla out of such an event was a bold and emotional decision, one that had never been made before. But to William, it was necessary. He wasn't doing it to cause conflict. He was doing it to protect the purity and purpose of the event. Staff quietly adjusted seating plans, guest protocols, and formalities to reflect this change. It became clear that William was stepping into a new phase of leadership, one where he was less concerned with royal tradition and more focused on emotional truth and sincerity. As the 25th annual Diana Award drew closer, royal watchers and the media waited with curiosity. So, would Camilla's absence become official? Would it set a new precedent for how future royal events are handled? Or would there be a last-minute compromise? Let's find out. The history between Camilla and Princess Diana and William's emotional decision. The story between Camilla Parker Bowles and Princess Diana is not just a tale of two women. It's a story that shook the royal family and deeply affected Prince William's emotional life. Their lives, tangled together through love, betrayal, and heartbreak, didn't just change the face of the British monarchy. They left emotional wounds that still influence decisions within the royal family. Even decades later, before Diana ever appeared in Prince Charles's life, there was Camilla. Charles met Camilla in the early 1970s, and the two quickly formed a close bond. Their connection was more than just friendship. It was romantic. But that relationship was put on hold when Charles left to serve in the Navy. During that time, Camilla married another man, Andrew Parker Bowles, in 1973. Even though they went on with their lives separately, the emotional link between Charles and Camilla never truly disappeared. It quietly remained in the background, hidden from public view. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, she believed she was stepping into a fairy tale. To the world, it looked like the perfect royal love story. A beautiful young princess, a future king, and a life filled with duty, devotion, and love. But the reality behind the palace walls was far more painful. Diana slowly realized that her husband's heart still belonged, at least in part, to another woman, Camilla. During the 1980s, the cracks in Diana and Charles' marriage became harder to hide. The royal family worked hard to show a happy image, but behind the scenes, Diana was deeply hurt. She knew that Camilla was still very much a part of Charles's life. Although Diana tried to stay strong and keep up appearances, the pain was heavy and constant. Everything changed in 1989. At a birthday party hosted by Camilla's sister, Annabelle Elliott, Diana showed up unexpectedly. That night, Diana did something incredibly brave. She decided to confront Camilla directly. In a private conversation, quietly watched by her bodyguard, Ken Worf, Diana told Camilla that she knew the truth about what was going on. She looked her in the eye and said, "Please don't treat me like an idiot. I know what's going on." Camilla's response was calm, even cold. "You have two wonderful boys." It was a chilling answer that made Diana feel even more alone. But it was also a turning point. For the first time, Diana had spoken her truth. Throughout the early 1990s, Diana continued to struggle with the pain of being caught in a marriage where her heart was not fully loved in return. By 1992, the truth could no longer be hidden, and Charles and Diana separated. Even though the royal family tried to keep things quiet and controlled, the emotional damage behind closed doors was overwhelming. It affected not just Diana, but also her sons, William and Harry. In 1995, Diana decided she could no longer stay silent. In her famous interview with BBC's Panorama, she opened up about the reality of her marriage. Her words stunned the world when she said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That simple sentence became iconic. It showed the world how Diana had suffered, and it cast Camilla as the third person who had come between a prince and his princess. For young Prince William, who was only 13 years old at the time, seeing his mother so sad and broken on national television was heartbreaking. It wasn't just about the public attention or the media. It was the helplessness of watching the person he loved most fall apart. That pain left a deep scar on his heart. From that moment on, William became fiercely protective of his mother's memory. He made a silent promise to himself. never let her story be forgotten, and never let her be disrespected. Then, in August 1997, tragedy struck. Princess Diana was killed in a car crash in Paris. William, only 15 years old, lost his mother in a moment that felt impossible to understand. The pain of losing her combined with the constant media attention changed him forever. It shaped the way he looked at love, trust, and family. Years later, in 2005, Charles married Camilla. Slowly, the public began to accept her new role in the royal family. But for William, it wasn't that easy. On the outside, he was polite and respectful. But on the inside, when the old hurt still lingered, he had seen what his mother had gone through. He had watched her cry, watched her suffer, and remembered the woman who had caused so much of that pain. Accepting Camilla was not just a matter of royal duty. It was a battle between memory and healing. As the Diana Award ceremony in December 2024 drew near, William had grown older, wiser, and more confident in his royal role. Yet the emotional wounds from his mother's struggles were still raw. Recent revelations about how Diana was manipulated into the infamous Panorama interview brought those old feelings to the surface, reigniting his protective instincts. This only deepened his commitment to honoring Diana in a way that was true, respectful, and free from any emotional confusion. From William's point of view, allowing Camilla to attend the 25th anniversary of an award specifically created in Diana's honor could potentially overshadow the event's true purpose. It could open up old wounds not only publicly, but also personally. His careful and thoughtful decisions about the guest list were therefore more than just a matter of royal protocol. They were a way of protecting Diana's legacy, ensuring emotional authenticity, and allowing room for personal healing. As the event approached, William's resolve only grew stronger. He understood that the decision about whether Camilla would be present or not was far more than just a formality. It held deep, symbolic meaning. This decision wasn't just about his feelings regarding the past. It had the potential to redefine his relationship with other senior royals. Those around him could sense his quiet determination, understanding that William had already made up his mind. For him, the Diana Award represented something pure and untouchable, free from controversy. Honoring Diana meant ensuring that nothing or no one would overshadow her memory. But would William officially confirm Camilla's absence? And, if so, how would the palace handle this unprecedented decision? Let's explore further. Diana Annual Award Ceremony and Camilla's absence. As the 25th Annual Diana Award Ceremony arrived, excitement filled the air. Journalists, royal watchers, and the public all waited eagerly for the details, not only about who would be honored, but also for a glimpse of what was happening behind the scenes within the royal family. Prince William, with his careful planning, had made sure that every detail was perfectly aligned to honor his mother's legacy. But beyond the speeches, smiles, and formalities, there was a quiet tension in the room, one that would soon become clear. William's meticulous preparations reflected his deep commitment to the ceremony and to his mother. Photos of Diana, chosen by William himself, decorated the space. These images captured her warmth, compassion, and her dedication to helping others. Every part of the event, from the seating arrangements for the young award recipients to the emotional video tributes, was designed to highlight Diana's lasting humanitarian impact. Yet what grabbed the most attention wasn't just who was there, but who was absent. As the guests arrived, members of the royal family were welcomed warmly by event organizers. Prince William and his wife, Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeared calm but sincere as they greeted the young honorees. Prince Harry, absent due to his own family matters, sent heartfelt messages of support. King Charles observed from the background, respectfully aware of the delicate nature of the day. But there was one absence that no one could ignore. Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Absence caused a stir, quickly sparking whispers among the media. It became clear to those familiar with William's careful planning that her absence was no accident. In fact, it was a deliberate choice. Prince William had quietly decided not to invite Camilla to this deeply significant event, honoring his mother. Though he never made a public statement about it, this silent decision spoke volumes about William's emotional stance regarding his mother's complex past. By choosing not to include Camilla, William sent a powerful message. Some wounds, especially those tied to his mother's legacy, were too personal to ignore. Despite the media storm, Buckingham Palace chose not to comment. Officials avoided discussing Camilla's absence and instead focused on the importance of the Diana Awards ceremony itself. However, this silence only fueled more speculation. Privately, sources close to the palace acknowledged that William's decision had caused discomfort. Camilla's absence was especially significant, considering her growing influence within the monarchy. Reactions within royal circles were mixed. Some saw it as a respectful boundary drawn by William, motivated by love and a desire to protect his mother's memory. Others worried it might reignite old family conflicts at a delicate moment for the monarchy. Yet William remained calm and resolute. Those close to him described him as fully aware of the implications of his choice, both within the royal family and in the public eye. To William, this wasn't about causing conflict. It was about being emotionally honest. By excluding Camilla, he made it clear that his mother's legacy needed to remain free from any lingering controversies. Throughout the ceremony, William honored the young recipients with warmth and sincerity, highlighting their courage, kindness, and leadership. His speech centered on his mother's compassion and her desire to create meaningful change in the world. This message resonated deeply with the audience, both those present at the event and the millions watching around the globe. It was a clear reminder that Diana's values, so central to William's personal identity, would remain a guiding force in his vision for the monarchy's future. After the ceremony, media commentators analyzed every detail of William's tribute to his mother. While they praised his emotional authenticity, Camilla's absence continued to overshadow the discussions. In the weeks that followed, royal experts debated the deeper implications of William's actions. Buckingham Palace remained silent, but privately, it was clear that William's decision had sparked significant reflection. Camilla respected his choice, understanding that some emotional wounds needed time and distance to heal. King Charles carefully navigated the situation, balancing his support for his son with acknowledgement of Camilla's position within the royal family. In 2024, the Diana Award continued to grow globally, with William's genuine commitment to his mother's legacy at the forefront. Young recipients often spoke of how his actions had inspired them. By the time 2025 approached, it was clear that William's leadership style had begun to reshape public expectations. His actions proved that emotional openness could coexist with tradition, transforming the monarchy's image and paving the way for a future that was both compassionate and emotionally honest. What do you think about Prince William's shocking decision towards Camilla during his mother's awards ceremony? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.